All right, so we are recording now, yes? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this other tool that we want to go ahead and use, which is called SQL Developer. Let's see what that's all about. Well, so let's go ahead and just bring it up. You know, I should mention that if you were to go into Canvas and let's just go into modules, I'm going to go ahead and make SQL Developer available to you right now. So SQL Developer, oh, it's been available to you for quite some time. Look at that, sqldeveloper.zip, okay? So let's go ahead and imagine as if you go ahead and download that. And then when you go ahead and download it, it's a compressed file, and then you uncompress it and you put everything inside of some folder. Let's just say you put it in this folder right there, okay? And so you don't have to actually install anything, you just uncompress that file. And once you do it, then you just go all the way down, and then you notice that there is this thing that says application and SQL Developer. So you don't care about what's going on inside of any of these folders, just SQL Developer, okay? You just go ahead and click on that. And then look at that. Something's going to be happening here soon. And that's pretty fast. It's because I got a fast machine. How you doing?
What was the point of learning SQL Plus if we're just going to go into development?
Now that's always a great point. Now let me ask you one question. What is the point of learning assembly language? Are you taking that class?
No.
Will you be taking it? Well, you should. Are you not a computer science major?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. So if you're a computer science major, you have to take assembly language. And so some people say, you know, why do we have to take assembly language? How many of you have taken assembly language? You've taken it? Only one person? Was it painful?
It was painful for other people. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay, so some people are very different, okay? But anyway, what is going on is, you know, every once in a while you actually have to go and do some things, you know, with, you know, some programming language, in this case assembly language, you know, that you have. But what happens with this Oracle, when you go to a machine, okay, and that, you know, you're gonna be sort of interacting with, it's guaranteed that at a very minimum you'll have SQL Plus available to you. But you cannot be guaranteed of any other tools. And so oftentimes what happens is when people are working in these different environments, if they don't have something like an SQL developer, okay, you need to know how to go and interact with this least common denominator, which is possibly at times the only tool that's available to you. So that's why we've exposed you to this, just in case. So let's go ahead and find out what is happening with this. Now, when you go ahead and open up SQL Developer, you will come across a screen that looks like this, okay? So at this point, what you want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and just click on the plus, okay? And when you click on the plus, you come across a screen that looks like this, okay? So, yes?
Sorry, it's taking us a little bit.
Yeah, it's taking you guys a long while. Is it almost loaded?
Almost.
Almost, okay. So yeah, so you click on the plus, and then this is what happens, okay? And then, you know, at this point, it's asking for a bunch of information. So I'll go ahead and, you know, I mean, of course, you know, we have that video right there, but I will go ahead and just create a small little video for how to go ahead and set up SQL Developer, okay? So, when it comes to connection name, come up with some name. Let's go ahead and call this name Crappy. This is to indicate to you that you can call this whatever you want. It doesn't matter. That's what that means. Okay. Then the next thing is, well, what is your username? Well, it's the username that I gave to you, whatever that is, okay? So you go ahead and put in that username. So there is that. You know, I forget what my username is. Well, I mean, that's my username, but what is my password? You know my password?
No, I'm talking about the username. For all of us, it's not the entire thing with the app and
Yeah.
stuff trails.
So what is going on is at this point, when you're putting in your username, it's only the username. There is no @CISP350D or L or anything like that. It's just your username, okay? Which is the W stuff. Yeah? Okay. Then you need to go ahead and put in your password. So let me just see if I can get this. Okay, well, whatever. Maybe that's correct. Okay. Then we go to the local host. Okay. The local host at this point, we need to go ahead and put in the specific IP address for the machine that you're going to be connecting to. Now, of course, who remembers, who knows what that IP address is? But we do have a domain name. And that domain name is, so you go and you take out the local host and you replace it by, I think that's what that is. I think there's a 2 in there. Okay, but we'll find out in just a second if that's going to work. Then you notice it says service name. You go ahead and click on service name and you go ahead and put in ORCL. So, yes.
On Canvas, there's an image file, a PNG file that you added up there that has all the information that they.
Oh, I am so good. I have done so much already. Okay, so thank you, Josh. All right, so look at that. So let's go ahead and test this out to find out if this is going to work. Okay. Oh, invalid username password. Well, let's just see here. Well, is it SABZEVI2 or just one?
I found it as 2 and what to use. Expired
The password has expired. Well, that's just great. Well, all right.
I'm sorry, one more time, the password is the our
So
last-
whatever your password is.
It's not our last name with the capital, right?
It's whatever password you've been using to get into SQL Plus.
Okay.
So whatever
It was
that
our
is.
last name, right?
Which was your last name, and of course the first letter is
Yeah.
uppercase. So let me go ahead. Oh, jeez. Where is? You know, today was supposed to go a little smoother, but apparently it's not. Okay, so let's just see. Oh, we already have it. Okay, so it's CCSP 350. This is everything in there. Okay, so we do that. Okay. Okay, so this is great. So we're in now. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this again. I'm going to go ahead and change this password, whatever it is for me. And let me go ahead and give this a try. Oh, look at that. Did you see what just happened? So it says status success. Okay, so all I did is I came up with whatever name, crappy. I came up with my username, no ats, no none of that. I went ahead and came up with my password, whatever the password is that I gave you. Then I went ahead and put in sabzav2.homeip.net, okay? And then over here, we go ahead and put in ORCL, and then we just do test, yes.
Yeah, that's just your email, right?
This right here, no,
yeah.
this is not my email. This is an actual name that I have assigned to my machine at home.
Okay. So
Right.
what do we put?
sabzav2.homeip.net.
Same exact thing, okay.
Same exact thing. Now, just in case you're thinking, what the hell is all the stuff that he's putting in? Okay, so the the print screen, is it in here? Is it in the zip file?
It's the PNG file in the same section under.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Questions?
So this is what you go ahead and put in. And then this is what you put in, and ORCL, and that's what you have. And so if you just open up the PNG file, you have access to it. And so once you go ahead and do the test, and you notice that you're able to connect, then we are here, and we've been able to connect. So let's go ahead and just click on connect now instead of test. Okay, so what has happened now is I'm connected, okay? And look at that, it says crappy on it. You see that? Now I can go ahead and type in stuff. So let me go ahead and just do a select asterisk from dual, okay? Now the nice thing about this is that I can go up, I can go down, I can go ahead and just do everything. And so look at this, I can just go ahead and just hit that, and look at that, it actually gives me the result right there. If I was to go ahead and do, and I can go ahead and, let's just say get rid of all this, okay? So there's that. Now, also, let's just do this one right here. So, select table name from user tables, okay? Now you notice that, things are not, uppercase properly, and it would be nice to actually have, this stuff nicely formatted. So I can go ahead and select this entire thing, and let's just go ahead and see what we have here. So if we just go over here and just look at this. Here you go. 2 uppercase, lowercase, so look at what happens. So when you go and just click on it a whole bunch of times, you will notice all these different kinds of formatting that's available to you. Now the one that we're looking for is this one right here. Did it too many times. Okay, so take a look at this. The select is uppercase, the from is uppercase, everything else is lowercase. So you don't even have to go ahead and worry about hitting the shift key and all that. And so let's go ahead and just run this. There it is. It gives you all that information right here. And of course, you can go ahead and just adjust this window. You can bring it up here. And if you want to go ahead and just run something else, let's just say you have select asterisk from dual. And now let's go ahead and do this. So it gives me that, okay? And I can go ahead and just put my cursor on this, and I can run this. So look at this, if I have multiple of these SQL statements, I just go ahead and put my cursor on the line of the SQL statement that I want to go ahead and execute. And I can go ahead and, let's see, run script. That means let's go ahead and run everything. So look at that. Then it gives me both this one, and it gives me the other one as well. So there is select from dual, that's what I get. And this is the select table name from user tables, that's what I get. So you can run the entire thing, or you can just go ahead and run the line that you're on. And so this is the entire thing, that's the one that you're on. So that's all you really need. Now, what occurs is, since you've actually saved this, when you want to go ahead and reconnect, notice. So all you need to do is you just need to go ahead and click on that. And by the way, this is kind of interesting. When you go ahead and click on this, you can go ahead and just see the list of all the tables right there. And so now these are the tables that you have created, okay? Or, well, I've created. And there are all these other things that you can just go and look at. And so, like, for example, if I'm interested in finding out what's going on with the disease table, I just take a look at this, and it tells me that those are the columns that actually make it up. And it also tells me what the contents of the table is. And then I can go back here to crappy, and I can go ahead and put in my SQL statements. Yeah? Yes?
So how would you save it to a file so you can basically upload it to Canvas?
Well, so what occurs is being that we want to go ahead and, you know, you can actually go ahead and let's just see here. I think file save. So you can go ahead and save, and it'll save it as a .sql file. Okay. So you could do that, or you could actually just copy and paste it into, you know, your file of choice. You know, so it's up to you. But what I'm looking for is the result set, which is down here. When you're done with this, what I'm looking for at the end is for you to go ahead and do a snip of this and that, all of that together. Anyone else? Do you see how much easier this is to use? Okay, and so that's what happens with this world of SQL Plus and SQL Developer. All right, now let's.
Show the error statements.
What was that?
The error statements.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just see what the errors. So let's just imagine for a moment, if I was to go ahead and remove that asterisk. Okay, so that's going to be invalid now, right? So if I go ahead and do this, look at that. There's the error. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you'll see this stuff. Okay. Anyone else? Nothing. Okay. All right. So we have that.
What's name?
Username is
And we have
your
this stuff right here.
double your student ID.
What's name? Localhost.
Now, so where are we at with this?
Oh,
We did all this constraint stuff, the composites. Did we do the unique constraint yet?
right here.
Yes, we did the unique constraint because we are at the foreign key stuff. The composites. We did the check, the not null, the foreign key. Okay, so we're done with that as well. And so we did all that. And disabling and enabling and dropping the constraints. So I think I just briefly went over this stuff, okay? But I just wanted to go and indicate that if you were to go ahead and create all these different constraints, like a primary, a check constraint, a unique constraint, you can just very easily go ahead and disable a constraint. So disable primary key. And there's only one primary key, so it knows exactly what to disable. And I indicated that if you were to go to the user constraints table and just look at the status column, it will tell you which ones are enabled and which ones are disabled. And notice that when I'm using the user constraints, look at this, how everything is uppercase, okay? Otherwise, you will not be able to go and pick anything up. And then, if you want to go and drop a constraint, okay, so once again, drop constraint, and if you know the name of the constraint, there it is. Drop primary key, if you want to go and drop a primary key or a unique key, if you know the specifics of it. And primary key with a cascade option. Now, let's go ahead and just take a look at this and see what happens. If this alter table command is executed successfully, the constraint no longer exists, and any value is accepted into the input column. If needed, the associated foreign key can be deleted along with the primary key deletion by using the cascade option. Now, that's kind of interesting, okay? So, now, let me just first show you the syntax. Now, look at this. Alter table patient drop primary key, okay? So we said that you're able to go and drop a constraint, yes? And you're able to go and just say drop primary key, but this has got this cascade keyword. So what does that mean? Okay, that's better. All right. So this is the foreign key, that's the primary. Yes? Now, when you go ahead and say, let's go ahead and do an alter table, and then let's go ahead and drop the primary key with the cascade option, well, if I leave out the cascade, it says, oh, you want to go ahead and drop the primary key, but you can't. Why? Why can't I just drop the primary key at this point?
Because it's being used as a foreign key. in another
Because we have a foreign key here, right? If I go ahead and remove this primary key, this foreign key no longer has any meaning. Because a foreign key is connecting to a primary key in some other table, yes? So then, if I want to go ahead and drop a primary key, I first need to go and get rid of the foreign key, then I can get rid of the primary key. Well, you could actually go ahead and issue the primary key, dropping it with the cascade option. And so that, what that will do is that will actually not only get rid of this right here, that constraint, but it also will go ahead and get rid of that constraint as well. And so then it's all good. Because you cannot have this one without that one. And so if you want to get rid of this, it'll just automatically get rid of the foreign key. Now the data will still be intact. It's just the constraint that will be removed. Does that make sense? Who doesn't get what I just said? No? Yes? What did I just say? Go ahead.
That if you use the cascade option, it'll take out the alternate parts. So if you use the cascade option for the primary key, it'll also remove the foreign key.
Okay, right. Now, does it actually affect the data?
No.
No, the data will remain intact.
It's just the
connection is lost, okay? So then this means that, you know, you can go in and just put in whatever kind of data that you want in here. So the data integrity, okay, is gonna be lost. So that's the problem that we have. And that's the only reason why we have a foreign key, because we wanna make sure that when we're putting in an ID here, it is an ID that's already been defined. You sever that connection, now you can go ahead and put in whatever ID you want. It doesn't matter. There's no check. Okay, so that's what that primary key cascade option gives you. Okay. So let's go ahead and why don't we go ahead and just do it collectively as a group. So drop the primary key constraint at the person table. How would I do it? Help me out. So we have the person table, we have the personality table, and so which table between the person and the personality? So we have, as you remember, we have the person table and we have the personality table. And so here we have, like, for example, 1, Jim, and let's just say 1, 1. And then over here we have 1, 1, and that's a good personality, okay? So the foreign key is where? Is it in the person table or in the personality table? In the person table, right? Because a person right here, Jim, is good. And of course our definition of good is coming from here. So we want to go ahead and drop the primary key in the person table, which is this one right here. Do I need to go ahead and use the cascade option with that?
No,
No. Why? Because this,
you're only doing the primary.
that's right, this is not associated with any foreign keys, is it? Yeah? How you doing? What's happening? Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right, so how do I do it? Help me out. Alter table. Person. Drop. Constraint. Well, what if I don't know the name of the constraint? Primary key. That's it. So it'll just drop it. It'll just completely get rid of it. Okay. Now, what happens if I want to go ahead and disable the unique key? So let's just say that we maybe just said that, you know, this L name, let's just say that this is the L name column. Let's just say that we wanted to go ahead and disable that constraint, which is unique. How do I do it? Alter table, person. So at this point, we don't want to drop, we want to disable. Disable. Unique. L name. right? Now, why do I need to go ahead and put in the unique with the L name in here? Why do I need to put the L name there? Because you can have many unique keys. So the question is, which one do you want to go and disable, right? And so you need to go and specify. Now, of course, if you know the name that is associated with that, how would you do it? What if, let's just say, you know the name of the constraint, and the constraint is called like UK? How would you disable constraint UK? Yes? So it's that simple. Okay, and so insert to verify. So how do I go ahead and verify that the primary key has been dropped in the person table?
Same person ID.
You go ahead and insert two records in which the ID is identical in both records. Yes? So if you have ID 111, okay, and if I go and try to insert another ID 111, it should allow it now because I have just dropped the primary key. With the primary key, it would have actually said, no, you know, I can't do it. But without the primary key, I can go ahead and put in as many duplicates as I want. Yes? Did you want to say something?
I was just asking if there's only one unique key, do you have to put the name?
Yes, because you know the underlying assumption is that we don't really, because a table could potentially have many unique keys, and so there's a generic syntax that it looks at. It says, you know what, if you want to go ahead and use the disable and then unique, being that there could potentially be many uniques, you need to give me the specifics. But with primary key, potentially or unpotentially, it doesn't really matter, there's only one primary key. So just the keyword primary key will do. Yeah. All right, anyone else?
Do you need a semicolon at the end of?
Yeah, so we're assuming that with all these, you need a semicolon.
And
Okay.
we need an uppercase too, right?
And of course, if you want to make it look nice, you want to go ahead and make it uppercase as well. So, yes.
So, why not just have cascades on all the primaries in case we don't, in case there's like
Well, because you know what is going on is we're thinking that you have an idea as to what you want to go ahead and do. You don't want to just go ahead and use Cascade for the hell of it, right? So knowing what the relationship is between these right here, you know that there is no foreign key associated with this, and so therefore you would not use Cascade. Because Cascade is also quite dangerous, right? If you go ahead and use Cascade, let's just say, what happens if I want to go ahead and get rid of this one right here? What happens if I want to go ahead and get rid of this? Which is the primary key in the personality table. Alter table, personality, drop what? Primary key, right? Now, in this case though, do I need to go and use Cascade? Or no? Yes? No? Yes? Is this primary key involved in some other table?
Yes.
Yes, which other table? There it is. It's right there. Yeah? So in that case, we have no choice but to go ahead and use it in the other table. Because when I go ahead and say, you know what, there is no primary key constraint, I better also be saying that there is no foreign key constraint. Because the existence of a foreign key is dependent on me having a primary key. And so that is knowledge that you need to know about and not just arbitrarily put in Cascade or no Cascade. Yeah. What else? Nothing? Okay, all right. So, indexes. So in talking about indexes, let's just say that I have let's just say that I have a telephone book, okay? What do we have in telephone books? We have, like, for example, people's
Name, phone number.
L name, we have F name, we have like phone number, right? And we can have address as well. well, let's forget address for the time being. Let's go ahead and make it simple. And there's all this data, okay? Let's just say that we have, let's say Kabdul, okay? And Kabdul K, okay? And his number is 777-666. He's an evil guy. All right. And then this is Mabdul. Okay. And Mabdul M. And his name is 222111. And let's say that we have Abdul. And this is A. And this is 888. I don't know, 111. Okay, whatever. Forget this 111 stuff. Just leave it at this. Yes? Okay. Now, at this point, when you want to go in and do a search, into this telephone book, this is pretty bad, isn't it? Because are things sorted in any kind of alphabetical order?
No.
No, they're not. They're just all over the place, right? Okay, so what if we actually go ahead and do this? So this is how things are actually stored behind the scenes, okay? But then I can go ahead and maybe, let's say, create a telephone book that looks like this now. I can go ahead and say, so let's just say that there is the one telephone book in which every time we get somebody who comes in, we just go ahead and insert it at the end, okay? Now let's go ahead and create these other telephone books as well. So we can have another telephone book in which L name, F name, phone number, and I can go ahead and say, you know what, Abdul should go first, then Kabdul, then Mabdul, okay, and so Abdul is 888, Kabdul is 777, and Mabdul is 222, with whatever is going on here. Now, if you want to go and do a search, it's pretty easy, right? But then you're thinking, you know what, this is a great telephone book, but it happens every once in a while where I need to go in and do a search by telephone number. I know people's telephone number, but I have no idea who they are, okay? So then maybe what you could do is, so this is one phone book, for example. This is another one. And here's another phone book. And so what I could say is L name, F name, phone number. And so you could actually go and say, you know what, I got 222 here, which is Mabdul. Then I have 777 here, which is Kabdul. And this is Abdul, Abdul, which is 888. So then you can just go ahead and take a look at this numeric information, and then it just goes down sequentially, right? So depending on how you want to look for the information, you go to the different telephone books. And isn't that convenient, right? Because sometimes you know what's going on with the last names, and you can look up information based on the last name. Other times you have other kinds of information that you're going to be doing the lookup, and so it would be nice if there's some kind of an ordering associated with that. And these are different telephone books that have been constructed based on this one set of data that we have. Yes? So what if we actually go and do this with tables as well? Let's just say you've created this table, the employees table, the patient table, the candidate table. It doesn't really matter, okay? And you're going to go and do all kinds of searches, into this table. But it could be based on different columns. One time it may be based on the name. Another time it may be based on some ID. Another time it may be based on the address. And so you'd like to go in and have this different ordering. And that's what indexing does for you. It actually allows you to go and have all these different versions of your telephone book based on this table that you have behind the scenes. So hopefully that made some sense. Okay. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and find out what happens. So what occurs here is we create a table called patient here, and it's got all this stuff. And Oracle is going to go in and do something nice for us. It says, you have a table, you're probably going to go create all these primary keys, all these unique keys, and guess what? I'm going to go ahead and create all these different telephone books based on your primary key and all the unique keys that you have. So there's going to be an index or a telephone book that is going to go and create, ordering everything based on the patient ID sequentially. So if you need to go and do a search, you can quickly go to that telephone book and look for the patient that you want, because things are not just randomly sitting there. You could also go ahead and have another telephone book in which everything is actually ordered based on the F name, comma, L name, okay? Because maybe you have that information. And then that's the stuff that it will give you automatically, but you can actually go ahead and explicitly create other telephone books that will go and order the data differently. And here's another one. Well, maybe you're thinking about going to the table patient right here, and then you want to go ahead and order the information based on the address. Okay, so now you have another telephone book in which you can look up people through address. And so what happens is that, and then you can go ahead and take a look at all the indexes, okay, or all the telephone books that you have created on your table patient by going not to the user constraints table, but to the user indexes table. So the user indexes is going to go and contain all the information that you have. And what is that information? Well, that information, you have the index name, you have the table name, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but at least it has this stuff. Now, I want to go and share with you a little something here. Now, the question that actually comes up is, you know, indexes are like constraints. They have to have names. So take a look at this. I go ahead and create a table, an index on address with regard to the table patient. But I go ahead and give my index a name. Just like, you know, we give our constraints a name, indexes also have names. So everything is complete here. We have the table name, we know exactly what column we want to go and create the index on, and then we also have a constraint name. Now, the question that actually comes up is, well, we said that Oracle is going to go ahead and create these indexes for us automatically. So the primary key is one of those indexes. The unique key is another one. So the question is, what is the name of those indexes that are going to be created for us? So do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So let me ask you one question. When we go and create a primary key, at this point I'm not using the constraint keyword, which means I'm not giving it a name. So what happens with the name of this? What was that? Yeah, so the system gives it a name, right? And the system will actually go ahead and give it a name as well. And so guess what? That name, whatever that name is, you will find that when you go ahead and do a lookup in the user indexes table, the index name will be exactly the same as well. To prove that to you is this is the user constraints table right here. This is the user indexes table. So in the user constraints table, as you well remember, okay, it contains all this information about all the constraints: primary key, unique key, check constraint, all that. And so we have a P and we have a U. So look at that. We have a P and we have a U. And I didn't give a name, so Oracle went ahead and generated these names. I also went ahead and created an index on address, right? And the index that I created was what? It's called patient address IDX. That's the index that I created. That's the name. And so when I go to the user underscore indexes and I say, hey, give me the name of all the indexes associated with the table patient, what does it give me? These two, which are the same as those two right there. And then this new one that I just created. And so that's what we have. And then, if you don't like the name associated with an index, you can rename it right there. If you don't like your index, you can get rid of it. Drop index, and then there it is. Now notice when you're dropping an index, there is no altered table associated with it. You just drop the index. So, help me with this. When are indexes created automatically? Gentlemen in the back, all the way in the back. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's go across from you. Yes, sir. What are indexes created automatically?
Whenever you define a primary key
Primary key or?
or a composite key.
No, because a primary key can be composite, okay? So it's not that you can have a primary key or a composite. We can have a composite primary key, or we can have a composite unique key. So if it's a primary key or, go ahead, unique key. If it's a primary or unique, it's automatically created for you, okay? Now what happens, by the way, when you drop the table? What happens to the indexes? Do you need the indexes? No. If you go and eliminate an entire table, you no longer need those other phone books. Because maybe, you know, maybe like the whole city got moved to some other place. Or maybe those people just passed away, okay? So if that's the case, then you no longer need any of those indexes. So you remove the table, all the indexes will actually be removed for you as well. Now, let's go ahead and create an index on the person table, on the person table, based on L name and salary. So what do you suggest we do? Help me out.
Create index
Create index,
person.
create index.
Are we giving it a name?
Well, you have to give it a name. So let's call it you.
Okay. Underscore IDX
Okay, underscore IDX.
on
Person.
um,
Parentheses
L-
open.
patients.
Income, salary.
L name,
Salary. Okay. So look at this. You're looking at everyone as a patient now. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so we have that. Is that good? Okay. What about dropping the index?
Drop index.
Drop index,
Yo.
yo, index. Yes?
Yes.
Is this class ended?
Yes.
All right. You know what this also means? This means that we have just run out of time, and so the assignments that I thought we could actually go and sort of go with. It looks like this insert, we'll need to go ahead and postpone that. So this one right here, apparently we'll have to go ahead and not make it be due so soon. So we'll have to actually go ahead and make it like better. I guess we'll make it Wednesday, and we'll make it (1:15 p.m.) How's that? But then you're thinking, well, what do we do for the weekend?
No, that's good because you're making it before the class.
It's
So,
still
but-
October.
But the other ones were like after the class at 11:59, so it was after the class, so.
Well, so
That way, it's before the
No, I
class.
you know, I love the way how you jump on this. Okay. So this is great. But let's go ahead and just see, because we want to make sure that we don't run out of time. Let's go ahead and just look at this homework one create, okay? Let's find out what's involved with that. Okay, with this homework create, okay? Let's see if you know everything that you should be knowing at this point with regard to this. Okay, so let's see. You are going to be creating that table. You're going to be creating a candidate key, creating a check constraint, adding a column, not null, composite, adding another one, a primary key, an index, a third table. Oh, so you have all the stuff. There you go.
How long is it gonna take us,
So,
2 days?
Well, because you guys have become such experts at this, it shouldn't take you more than like 10 minutes. All right, so let's go ahead and do the following. This is October 7th. When is that? Oh, not, okay, so let's just go and make it October 8th. How's that? Okay, so this way we can go ahead and address any questions that you have on that. So there we go.
Yeah, we have 2 things due.
Yeah, 2 things due on October 8th?
Yeah.
Homework 2 is on the 8th too.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. So we'll adjust that as well. So don't worry about homework 2. Just homework 1 at this point is what you need to go and focus on. And then we'll go ahead and, I guess I should just change it right now because I know I'm going to be getting all these emails. And so let me go ahead and adjust this. And so we can go ahead and say, you know what, let's go ahead and make this be due October 10th. How's that? Oh, it says, what is going on with this AM thing? Is that the default now? So, you know, somebody has probably made a request. And the folks who are dealing with these settings. Okay. So there we go. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, next time when you come, hopefully things will be working better. Yes, I know.